Hello friends, this is Anil Yadav in front of you, and I basically belong to Pratapgarh, a district of UP state, and recently I'm residing here in Mathura itself just because of my father's posting in the railway department, and I have just done my graduation itself in life sciences stream, and nowadays I'm preparing for UPSC itself, which is one kind of a great service of India.
That's lovely. So you want to serve the government, by going in the civil services, right?
Yes.
So Mr. Anil, I have a question for you. The question is there is constitution which is followed by everybody in India, and it should be followed, right? So, what do you think? Is our constitution absolutely fine, or does it need amendment, or does it require a kind of an overhauling, or should it be rewritten? Should our constitution be rewritten? So, or is it absolutely fine? So now, please throw light on it. Okay?
Okay, as per the requirement of the desired question is that if someone wants to rewrite the constitution, first of all the constitution was assembled in the constituent assembly because so many different kind of diverse individual or intellectual participants to participated in that, and so according to behalf of them, whatever they constituted in the constitution of India, that is as per the changes of the futuristic life. Like if I just talk about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar itself said this thing, the constitution himself said this thing, that constitution of India must be organic in the nature. Okay. Because if anything is organic, so it can definitely require some changes as per the situations. And if I just say this thing, the constitution is one kind of a medium which is providing the conception, character and the organization of the government itself. Okay. Conception means constitution is the mother law of the country or the nation. Okay, suppose that if it has so many legs, so in that sense we can say the constitution is the upper body by which we can derive so many different kind of powers by which we can execute the policies for the welfare of the sectional diversities in India. Okay. And one thing I would like to add in that, the one thing which is here written in the constitution, that it is organic in nature. It means whatever the changes, whatever the requirements of the society during the so many different phases, if we come in front, so we can definitely, according to the constitution demand, we can change it. And but if you just ask this question that can we rewrite the constitution, so no sir, directly we cannot codify the constitution in a separate manner, but we can provide some kind of amended provision to the constitution by which we can say this thing, that it was the codified constitution itself in which we brought some kind of a specific changes or amendments. Right. So that's all about.
Okay. So what are the changes that are required in terms of constitution? What all is there?
Sir, if I just talk about constitution requires so many changes. There are so many schedules in Indian constitution. Like if I just talk about 9th schedule of the Indian constitution, in which we just protected that 9th schedule if any kind of a judicial review wants to take place. So if a parliament or the legislative authorities is including that subject in the judicial, like in 9th schedule, so judiciary of India will never have any chance to interpret that. Okay. So this kind of amendments or changes we want according time to time.
And why is it needed?
It is needed, sir, actually because if one thing is very stagnant in nature, so how it means it is died itself. Okay. We cannot require because suppose that if there are so many different changes, just talk about the current going issue in Delhi, farm laws. So it is against the constitution. Okay. So that's why farmers are protesting. So if the farmers are protesting, so there must be some loopholes in the system which has acted the law, which they do not want to accept. Okay. So that's why constitution does not allow the government authority to implement or execute those kind of policies which is completely not in the welfare of the sectional diversity of nation.
Okay. So that is what my question is. If there is something written in the constitution but it goes against the public or people, then why should people follow it? Then can't there be changes in that?
No sir, public is not following that rules and regulations as per the current situation, if we can see.
Are the farmers not following, or the politicians are not following? Then who will judge it?
Sir, actually we the common people, the citizen, because sir we are having one kind of a specific relationship with, like suppose that we are living with our parents. So parents or wards, they have this specific relationship. And but if I just talk about, so constitution has emphasized one kind of a relationship which is known as a citizenship, okay, between the nation or between serving its own citizens.
Okay.
So that's why if anything happens wrong, not in the favor of the welfare of the public,
Okay.
so constitution public can have this kind of approach to be against in the against to the government.
Okay.
Because sir, mostly the politicians are not following the constitution.
Okay.
If I just talk about recently, I'm not against that act which has been taken by the central government in August 2019, like the revocation of the Jammu and Kashmir into UTs. So in that sense, the judgment was right in the welfare of the in the context of the welfare of the public, but somewhere or the other it infringes the rules and regulations as per the constitutional validity. Okay, because the validation of the constitution was not available at that time when it was scrutinized.
Okay.
And one thing, so many acts as per the situations are being implemented and being executed by the authorities, but some laws are not really accepted because as they are against the constitution.
Okay. So what all are the things which are needed to be amended? I mean, that is what you are going or speaking in the favor of constitution. In the favor, so many things are there. It was actually constituted keeping all the things or the benefits in mind. So please talk about the disadvantages, not the advantages.
Okay.
Or the things which you think are not to be followed or they need to be changed in the constitution.
Not to be followed.
Yes. And now with the passage of time, they require to be changed.
So if I say in an integrated manner that what should be the change, like what should be not done. But sir, if I just speak in the favor of the state government, so obviously if there will be the if the constitution makes them free, that you are completely free, there is no foundation. Because sir, we are not the what should I say, our nation is not the federal of the states, it is the union of the states. So we have to follow each and every step of the government itself, because suppose that if any specific judgment is taken in the interest of any other specific state, so obviously state will try to establish its autonomous power against the national government. But we have the specific word union of the states, so it means whatever the state government is doing in against the constitution, so union executive can control over the state authorities, that you are not the federal of the states, you are the union of the states. So you should not go against the constitution.
Okay.
And one and the foremost thing is that, sir, there are so many disputes in this interstate relation, the center-state relations, where we have the federal structure but with the unitary bias. Okay, because if you want to execute some policies like in the case of the distribution of the food or distribution of the like water treatment like agreement, so you cannot execute directly by your own will, as you are the part of the nation, but the right to execute policies in the favor of the other states, it has only in the hand of union executive.
Okay, so you find it inappropriate.
Obviously inappropriate, sir, because according to the constitution, it is the statement, it is the legal statement of the constitution. We have the federal structure, we do not agree, do not deny this fact, but we have the unitary structure with the federal structure with the unitary bias.
What are the consequences of it, the negative consequences?
Sir, negative consequences are that, like suppose that if union legislative authority wants to bring some changes. Okay. So what happens, sir? First of all, there must be the special majority of the union government from the union government side to the state government side. Yes. If the state government will be not in the majority, so the union government can't bring the changes. Okay. But there are some exceptional cases where the union government passes the bill to the so many different authorities of the state government itself, where the state governments are allowed to interpret that bill, but they do not have any kind of a obligation on them that if you agree with the statement or the bill, then only the central government will bring changes. The central government can bring the changes as per the rule of the law.
Okay. So it should not be there.
Yes, it should not be there.
Okay. Then what would be the what is the what is the benefit of the power of the central government then in that case?
So obviously there is a very great autonomy of the central government. Suppose that if I just talk about the bifurcation of Hyderabad and Telangana, earlier it took place. So before the bifurcation of the Hyderabad and Telangana, it was not in the interest of Hyderabad and Telangana, but it was in the interest of union government, because union government wants to distribute some kind of resources in Hyderabad also. But while distributing some resources in Hyderabad, it was not fulfilling the desires of the citizens. So union government thought that we should definitely bifurcate this state because the huge population. Okay. The reason was huge population of that state. So what happened, sir, when
What were the differences of opinion between them?
Obviously, sir, like Hyderabad, the Andhra Pradesh territory was not matching with the thought process of central government, as it was saying that you should, whatever you want to like distribute, so you should distribute to the Andhra government. If there will be the bifurcation of Telangana government, so the allocation amount will be bifurcated automatically.
Okay.
So that's why it was not in the favor of state government. If we just talk about sir, GST Council, when it was being framed, so Mr. Modi itself being a head of the being the head of the government, okay, the Council of Ministers, he was in the favor of GST implementation, but 28 states were not in the favor, because they were saying if this kind of a policy will be executed for the welfare of the union state, so somewhere or the other the interest of the states will be compromised, or it is being compromised today itself.
It had to be compromised.
It had to be compromised, or it is being compromised today itself.
It was applied in all the states then.
It was yes.
Okay. So what should have been there apart from this?
Sir, it should be there, like Mr. Modi implemented this policy as per the rule of the separation of powers. Okay, so in that sense he did not go for the majority of the judgment in the majority from the state side.
He didn't go for the unanimous choice or opinion.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so it was like he imposed it.
He
like
imposed it, obviously. But sir, in pandemic, what happened? The state governments were just demanding for their allocation of the fund from the central authority. But Mr. Modi claimed this thing by using the term pandemic, that there was a force majeure from the God side. So in that sense, I cannot allocate the fund to the respective government. So so sorry for that. So in that sense, the government came in front.
Got it. Now let me stop you here, and my next question is, from the religious perspective, are there changes needed?
Yeah, definitely, sir. There are so many
Let's
changes
talk
which
about
took
this.
place, and they are being changed also. Like if I just talk about the sir, we have the part 3 in the Indian Constitution, which is completely or specifically explicitly dealing with explicitly dealing with the part fundamental rights.
Okay.
So in the fundamental rights, we are having the religious minorities also.
Yes.
So for their welfare, in terms of economic welfare or the educational welfare, we are bringing some changes.
Yes.
Like sir, if I just talk about
Take the example of triple talaq as per the constitution.
Yes.
Now talk about this.
Yes, as per the constitution, sir, obviously the women from the Muslim community, they were treated as a minorities. So the Supreme Court or the Parliament of the Indian government thought that we should bring some changes in terms of compoundable relationship, because sometimes it happens, sir. It is not very easy task to just say and to just separate someone by saying by stating 3 times talaq. Okay, so government thought by stating this,
but it was their religious right.
It was their religious right, but it was beyond the self-respect of the women also, because sir, and as per the constitution, it can be the separate religious thought of their scripture, but it will be not in the authority of the constitution itself, because sir, it requires a lot of
But
hard work.
constitution says that anyone can practice his or her religion.
Anyone can practice his or
No
her
matter whatever it is.
but sir, there are some restrictions also.
Okay.
Suppose that if I just ask you, if I say this thing, sir, that article 21 is giving you right to life, okay, but somewhere or the other it is not absolute right to life as per
Right to life or live? What?
right to life, sir.
Oh, elaborate it, please.
So article 21st, as I'm not incorrect, okay, article 21st, okay, talks about right to life. Each and every individual has right to live. Right to live.
Okay.
As per the constitution legal statement,
I
right
say
to
the
life.
right to live.
Right to live. Sir, so in that sense, it is not absolute, okay, it is qualified. But in some cases, if constitution is giving you right to life, in which you can live.
Right to live.
Sir, it is the legal statement right to life.
Right to life.
Right to life. And in which you can speak right to live. You have the right.
Okay.
Right to live. Sir, but what happens if constitution is guaranteeing this fundamental right specifically to you? So is constitution is not snatching your life when the capital punishment comes in front of you? So obviously there is a counterfactual statement from the constitution
So what
itself.
wrong is there? I mean, what's wrong is there?
So wrong is there. Suppose that if government is saying that each and every community has their right to practice their own religion.
Okay.
Okay. But if suppose that if anyone has specific rights to like practice their own religion or propagate their religion, so in that sense they can misuse their powers by using this kind of articles. So that's why
Could you
constitution.
set examples? What kind of powers are being misused?
Yes, suppose that we cannot create the enmity between the two communities.
Yeah.
Okay, that you are Hindu, you are Muslim. Okay, we cannot pass any kind of a statement to them by which
Like
they can be.
secularism, yeah, it comes under secularism.
It comes under the
It is
secularism.
already there.
It is already there, but secularism is something different concept apart from these kind of fundamental rights.
Okay.
Because sir, if I just talk about yesterday itself, I just read one question in the bunch of this institute that should be impart the like scriptural study or qualification to the schools or not.
Yes.
Sir, if we impart this kind of education system, so obviously it is like intention of the government is good, but when it is being executed, so what is the surety that in the particular educational institutions there will be several communities, they will be studying all together, but if it comes to the teacher's hand that do you want to preach like Bhagavad, do you want to preach like Quran itself, so it will not create the cultural amalgamation itself. It will be separating the powers, or it will be separating the ideological thought process in itself. So that's why the constitution, Indian constitution is playing with the ideas only. Okay, not by the legal statement. Suppose that, sir, obviously when the constitution was being framed, so it was not the thought process of the constituent, like us, the participants of the constituent assembly, that what will be the situation in future. But as per the situation or as per the need of the society, we are changing or we are amending itself.
Okay. Now let me know, from social perspective, what are the changes? I mean, what do you think are what changes are there which need to be amended from the social perspective? Example, dowry system is still there, right? So what would you say about this?
Dowry system, sir, as I can say, the dowry system is there are so many illegal cases of dowry system which are registered in the police stations of India, but as per like it is very good topic to like, it is very good problem, like not a good problem, very bad problem of India, because somewhere or the other it is creating a additional pressure on the parents of girl side to bring some changes. But according to as I didn't study this thing, so I can assure you that there must be some kind of a policy related to the dowry system also.
Okay, now let me talk about Delhi. Like Delhi, I mean, doesn't come under the central government, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, what impact does it make? And it is, I mean, related to constitution, right?
Yes, sir.
In constitution, it is not a part of that. I mean, the central government has no authorities on Delhi, or I mean, on its police and all. I mean, it has its different politics, right? And that politician has to take care of it. Central government can't interfere or intervene in it, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, what are the? I mean, is it fine, or I mean, does it have to be changed?
Yes, it is fine, sir.
Okay.
Actually, sir, what happens, Delhi is not part of the central authority itself. Okay, but Delhi is the part of the union executive. If I just talk about, if you talk to me in the context of the police administration, that the union government does not have any kind of intervention in the work of police authority of Delhi government. But sir, I would like to say Delhi is having its own legislative assembly.
Yes.
Okay, but union government is also having the legislative assembly for the entire pan India. So sir, somewhere or the other, whatever the police administration or the authorities are they're deployed in this Delhi government. So they are the directly or indirectly part of the union legislative, because somewhere or the other it happens whenever we just make council of ministers. So we have this kind of a ratio that whatever the council of ministers will be formed, so rest of the people will be executing the policies of the government. So the police administration is directly the executive authority of the union government. So we can say somewhere or the other the 75% of the interest is of the union government in the state assemblies also.
Okay. So is it beneficial or what? I mean, overall.
It is beneficial, obviously,
Okay.
because sir, in that sense, the state legislative assembly will not have its autonomy by making some rules and regulations. Like suppose that earlier what used to a recent example, Mr. Kejriwal making free metro and bus like transport system for the women itself. But what happens? Union executive came in front and said this thing that it is not your own state property. It is the limited government. Okay, so we are also contributing and the state government is also contributing. So directly you cannot cannot take your own interest. So it happened. Sometimes state governments will try to be autonomous in their power, but union executive controls over that.
Okay, fine. Now let me also know, like, in the past, have there been cases in which the government or the people or the government had to go against the constitution?
Uh, Sorry, sir. Again, repeat.
Had there been cases in which the politicians or the governmental powers had to go against the constitution?
Yes, sir. There are so many cases.
Talk about them.
Sir, one and the foremost which I just shared with you, related to the Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, it was not as per the value of the constitution, but the judgment was right. Sorry, sir.
What was wrong there in Jammu and Kashmir?
Sir, there was no assembly. Assembly was dissolved directly.
Okay.
But if you want to bring some changes in the state legislative assembly, so there must be the first kind of, there must be first of all the majority of the legislative assembly should be.
In this term, if I talk about that 360.
Yes, yes.
So it was also there. In constitution, right? But because it was not in favor, so government had to
Sir,
remove.
Article 360 itself gives empowered the state. State means at the national level, Indian government.
Okay.
As per the Article 360, it empowers the state to first of all recommend the bill to the legislative assembly of the respective state government. Where do you want to bring changes? But the legislative assembly was dissolved there. So what happened? Mr. Modi sent his own puppet there as a governor. Okay, so that's why governor just gave it.
Did Mr. Modi do it for his own benefit? Did Mr. Modi?
Mr. Modi could not do this thing for his own benefit. He did whatever for the interest of the public of Jammu and Kashmir. But whatever he did, it was against the constitutional validation, sir.
Okay, so he had to go against. Right?
He had to. He went also.
So overall, are there benefits of the removal of this 360?
So there are the benefits of the removal of 360.
Or are there some disadvantages as well?
There are some disadvantages.
So talk about that, yes.
So disadvantages, this thing, suppose that when it was provoked in Jammu and Kashmir. So what happened, sir? I think I don't know the exact statistic when it was implemented, but since that age, since that period till this date, the network, the internet facility is down there. Okay, the 4G networks are not applicable. So it is the community or the citizens of Jammu and Kashmir, they are raising their voice against the government. Why, if you have implemented the plan for welfare of the society, so how you can assure the plan welfare of the society without providing the internet facility? Because approximately 85% of the works from the technological side is dependent on the internet facility.
Yes.
Which is not being done. And some people also.
So why exactly is the internet facility lacking there?
Actually, sir, the enmity between among the community.
Okay.
Enmity.
Yes. Between the which
communities. Yes. Hindu Muslims and some anti-social elements are also ready there to just
so
fight.
How does it impact on them, on the anti-social elements? Why do they not want that internet facility to be very nice or improved or sophisticated there?
No, sir. Anti-social elements wants that there must be the facility of internet. That's why they can misuse that power.
Okay, fine. So, but that's why it is not there.
That's why it is not there. So, sir, for the single community, you are not giving the internet facility, but the larger interest of the civil society is being compromised.
Yeah, they have to. So overall, is it good, bad? It is for their benefit, right?
It is for their benefit, but the present benefit they are not getting. So what is the value?
Nowadays it is the era of internet, so they should not be deprived of it, right?
Yes, sir. And sir, if I just talk about by implementing this policy, we have a lot of burden on our integrated judiciary also there, because approximately
if somebody has contradiction, you can make right of it.
More than 100 petitions are filed against constitution that whatever the changes came in Jammu and Kashmir, it is not validated.
Now throw light about India and Pakistan term related to constitution.
Sir, okay.
There were treaties with Pakistan, right?
Yes.
India and Pakistan treaties at the time of partition. So, from the perspective of constitution, talk about it.
Sir, from the perspective of the constitution, specifically, I want to throw the light on that, because sir, their constitution or our constitution, both are very different. It means they had they do not form the complementary base pairing. Okay, like suppose that we are having the written constitution, they are also having the written constitution, but somewhere or the other we are having the constitutionalism, but in Pakistan there is no constitutionalism. Okay, and one thing I would like to say, our India is non-religious state, but Pakistan is religious state. Okay, whatever the state is doing, so it is doing in its own welfare, like in the welfare of the Islam itself. But here in India we are having the one term which is known as a like secular state, so by which we are giving the attention to all the entire community, whether Sikh, Isai or Hindu, Muslim, doesn't make any sense. So but Pakistan is irrespective in the terms of religion, it is irreligious. Okay, but our India is completely very non-religious, because we do not, whenever we want to make or we want to serve the interest of the national nation. So we do not see the interest, we do not first of all peep into the religious state or like religious scripture of this nation.
We do not delve into
the matter of Islam or like in Hindu scriptures.
Okay.
But we all the other, we are just representing 360.
Now, according to constitution, the way our leaders or the PM is elected, do you find it appropriate or absolutely perfect?
No sir, actually sir,
First MP MLAs and then they choose like PM or like this. Is this structure good? Does it benefit people?
so that till the phase of the election of the prime minister, it was right, nice. But sir, in the terms of the head of the state, like president, we talk about, so there were some changes which were brought by the constitutional amendment itself. Earlier the procedure was to elect the president, it was something different, but
I'm
now
not talking about president, I'm talking about like PM. The way PM is chosen, elected,
yes,
like first MPs and then MLAs and then they all choose, or seats are there, right? Then they make the PM. So actually sometimes people don't choose the PM, right? People choose MPs and MLAs,
representatives,
right? Yes. And then but they have to actually bear somebody else then.
Yes.
Okay, so this direct process is not there.
They can choose
Right.
like in the right public person straight up.
Okay, maybe like for simply example is there, like you didn't vote for Modi, right? But he became,
Yes.
and you voted for somebody else in your area.
Sir.
In that area that person is serving. But finally in the like in India, because you are an Indian also, not a part of your that area only, right? But you have to bear with that person who you didn't vote for.
sir, right question. Sir, what happens, I also don't agree with the election of prime minister, because somewhere or the other we like elect our MPs, okay, who represents our desires in the council of ministers. But sir, what happens here, it is all about the government of the majority. Okay, whatever the government is in the majority standing in front of president, so they get the chance to be head of the government itself. So in that sense I can say there's no accountability, but there's a stability. Okay, but in our constitution says this thing, there's no stability, there's a accountability. Okay, because till the 5 years we have to wait for the accountable results. Okay, so that's why constitution is saying that people of India has to wait for the episodic accountability, have to wait for the episodic accountability, which is assured them after 5 years only. Okay, but in the mid, if you want to represent something, so you can't directly represent, because Mr. Modi, obviously, how can he represent our personal individual's desire? He will represent the state's desires. Okay, if in the context of council of the states, if I just talk about Rajya Sabha, which is known as, so we have the representatives there also.
So overall, do you find it appropriate that
Sir, to some extent I find it appropriate.
Okay.
Yes.
Or had there been a procedure in which that people could directly vote for the post of the PM? Okay, so like that. So would it be better, or is this better?
Long way is there.
There must be some referendum also, like because by which we, obviously it is the desire of every single individual that we should elect our prime minister directly, not but through representative.
He said the same, na?
Yes.
So it should be the way by which we can choose the person. We can
So what are the benefits and advantages and disadvantages
Of this,
of this?
sir, the vast diversity of India. So we cannot give chance to every individual because it will consume a lot of time also and the money. If we elect individually the election of prime minister, so that's why we have fixed the constituencies by which we can elect our MPs, and they can
But because of this process, actually, these people are sold then because they constitute or they make the PM, right? So obviously, then these seats are sold. Had it not been there, they wouldn't have been sold or like this. Had it not been there.
Sir, as such, there is no issue, like there is no case of so like selling or like
Obviously,
being
yeah,
sold.
MPs and MLAs, the people claim that they are sold.
Yes.
And the
Sir,
people
sold
have,
in that sense you are talking about anti-defection law. Suppose
Okay.
that if another person stands from my government itself, okay, from the Congress party itself, but what happens if it doesn't fulfill the desire like requirement of the majority from the Congress itself, so BJP will allure it, okay, that you should come in our in party, so
Yes.
that's why we can you can make us
So
win.
why does this dealing take place?
But sir, it is
That's
not
what
as per the
I'm-
anti-defection law. It is completely illegal. There are so many cases which are
But it
registered.
happens, it is
It
illegal, but it
happens, sir.
happens.
But there are some restrictions also. If the person transfers its party to the another party, it comes under the anti-defection law. So we cannot allow the person directly to be part.
Obviously, so indirectly, but it happens. They don't do it legally, but illegally but they do it. It happens.
If they had, so they have to leave the any seat.
Tickets are sold, right? Tickets, when they give the ticket to contest the election, they are sold,
So sorry for that. I don't have any
and
information.
a lot of money is spent in elections,
Yes, sir.
right? So why is it there? A lot of money is spent in elections.
Sir, as such, I don't have any idea about that because I have to again study for that.
Okay,
Yes,
fine.
this case.
And several things are there because actually the answer of this, actually many people, like let's say you are the local person, okay. So if their PM is chosen directly elected, then there would be nobody to take care of you in your area. At least somebody is taking care of you in your area because that person is under the fear that this person would not vote for me. So that person takes care of that area. Otherwise, who would take care? Because you have no connection with Modi directly.
Directly, yes.
Right? So that person is there at least. He's under the fear, right? He's under the fear I would lose my seat. So that's why those people take care of you. Otherwise, you would have no godfather or somebody like that
So,
to take care.
Yes, sir. As per the MP led schemes, also like our MPs also get the fund from the central authority to execute their policies for the local citizens' welfare. Obviously, directly we cannot talk to PM
Yes.
because it is not accessible for everyone.
Yes.
Like that.
Sir, what obviously, sir, like if I just talk about our MP Hemamali, okay, so she also gets like annually 5 crores of rupees. But when we just talk to to her in terms of infrastructural development, so sir, herself she accepts this thing that, oh my God, which kind of development infrastructure policies I have brought, even I don't calculate.
Yes.
So there is a less accountability of her also. So in that sense, people are having the another option also as an MP. They can also elect someone. Why only Hemamali? Hemamali is not the only option.
Yes.
Yes, and why do people bear with them for 5 years? Why can't they
That-
ask them to begin the
Actually, people have the right to demolish the government,
Yes.
but unity is not there.
Yeah, majority is not.
A majority and unity has to be
Why
there.
can't a single person do these kind of things? He can also raise the voice of him or herself. They should also take a first step. Why are they waiting for
From the common people
Yes.
to
They
that
have
dissolve
right,
government.
yes.
Okay,
they have
anyways,
right.
today it was enough, or that was good. You threw light on these points about constitution. That was good, and we would wish you best of luck and study more and harder on this. Yeah, because I wanted you to pick the several points on it. Yeah, one by one like that in a sequence, and so many things are still left or to be touched. Yeah, we will talk about this later. So this is enough for today. Thank you so much for your participation, and thanks all for listening also. Okay, take care and bye now.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.